A team of advisors in the Trump administration or upcoming Trump administration are planning to attempt to privatize oil-rich Indian reservations. Reservations specifically belonging to Native Americans. Now, understand that these reservations have a lot of oil. In fact, even though the land accounts for about 5% of land in the United States, it actually accounts for 1/5 of the oil reserves in the country. So now the group proposes to put those lands into private ownership, a politically explosive idea that could upend more than a century of policy designed to preserve Indian tribes on U.S.-owned reservations, which are governed by tribal leaders as sovereign nations. Now, Trump has this group of advisors that are specifically looking at Native American issues.
Because we haven't robbed the Native Americans enough.
Okay, this is incredible. Now, 4 out of the 5 chairs in this group have ties to private oil companies.
What a surprise. I couldn't have seen that coming.
Yeah.
From the swamp.
Yeah. The Council of Energy Resources Tribes, a tribal energy consortium, estimated in 2009 that Indian energy resources are worth about $1.5 trillion. In 2008, the Bureau of Indian Affairs testified before Congress that reservations contained about 20% of untapped oil and gas reserves in the U.S. Okay, so let me get into some of the details about the pros and cons, right? So on one hand, okay, I think privatizing would be a disastrous idea. We know it's going to happen. We have a long history of trying to lure Native Americans in with certain deals in order to take advantage of the land that they govern, and then they end up losing that land, right? In this case, the way that these individuals are trying to sell this to Native Americans is by saying, look, you are sitting on top of a tremendous amount of oil, and you could profit from it. Don't you want to profit from it? But you can't because of the bureaucracy, because of the regulations. If it's now privately owned instead of public land, well, then we can do away with some of those regulations and you can start making some money.
Oh, I'm sure that they're from the government. They're here to protect you. I think Native Americans have heard that spiel for quite some time. So not only is Trump now saying, no, I don't care what Obama said about environmental impact statements at Standing Rock, his spokesperson came out today and said, no, we fully support Dakota Access Pipeline being built. Now they're going further and saying, well, you know, not only is there the unceded territory, which is at stake in the Standing Rock situation, but reservations, clearly 100% owned by Native Americans and at a sovereign territory. There's no dispute at all. We'd like those too. And so let's privatize, let's drill, baby, drill, and take more of the precious resources that are rightfully Native Americans and then see what happens.
Yeah.
So look, they've done this with other nations throughout American history. You've got precious resources, whether it's bananas, literally, in Central America, or it's oil in Iran, and you've got a democracy, and in Iran in 1953, they had a democratically elected leader, and we organized a coup against them. Why? Because we wanted cheaper oil. And not for us, but for the people who ran the government. They literally worked for the corporations who made the oil deals after the coup.
Yep.
And so those private interests have been doing this for decades. Now it's coming home, and it's reservations within the United States of America. I know what you're thinking about how the corporate media has covered this election.
Oh, no, not again.
Right? Okay, luckily there's the Young Turks, and you make the Young Turks happen. We're powered by our members. TYTnetwork.com/join. Be the revolution.